there have been layoffs at Atlantic Music Group.
20 artists were dropped from their label in the last 2 days.
Since the Diddy indictment, a lot of people have been quitting.
A lot of people spent money on products, assets, and artists that were all being backed by fake streams all this time.
These labels are going to go from being the homes of artists, they're now going to turn into the new distro kids and TuneCores.
DIY.
DIYers, there is a change that is going underway in the music industry as we speak. Maybe even by the time this video drops, more madness. I'm sure more madness has happened. But the latest news within that traditional mainstream industry is that there have been layoffs at Atlantic Music Group. Atlantic Music Group is the home of some of the biggest artists, specifically in mainstream rap. And the story goes here. This is on the Variety. As an article, it says, as expected in the wake of the impending departure of top Atlantic Music Group executive Julie Greenwald and Kevin Liles, a large wave of layoffs have begun at the storied company as it begins what Warner Music CEO Robert Kennel describes as a new dynamic structure for the label group. Let's cut through the bullshit. Since the Diddy indictment, a lot of people been quitting. A lot of folks been quitting. Why they been quitting, Curtis? A part of me feels like maybe their name might get brought up in this case. Matter of fact, as of the recording of this, I didn't really look into it, but it says that Diddy does want to testify. On whom, you may ask? Who the hell knows? I don't know which one of you freaky deakies like baby oil. Spike baby oil at that, allegedly. But a lot of folks is dropping off left and right, and don't let the timing fool you. This is not just about redoing the dynamic structure of the label group. Stop the cap. A rep for the company declined comment, but sources tell Variety the number of people affected is around 170, and that the move is also a consolidation. Oh, we just consolidating. It's a consolidation, don't worry. Known to be leaving Atlantic are GM executive Paul Sinclair, president of Black Music Michael Kaiser, a longtime head of publicity EVP Sheila Richmond, marketing EVP Grace James, and touring SVP Harlan Frey, among others. So I don't know if it reports it here, but the execs and the people in these positions weren't the only ones that got dropped. They say 50 artists also got dropped too at Atlantic.
Jesus Christ.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
What the hell is going on? I'm sorry for screaming in your ear. Didn't I call this shit? Did I call this around last year? Didn't I tell you? It's so unfortunate how when a rapper dies, the people in these power positions that push this propaganda, that push this toxic and reckless content, the ones that encourage these artists, as Meek Mill said at one point in time, to talk about these things, they never get touched. Their job is secure. The rapper passes away, they got an entire rollout plan now, from the streaming boost that they're going to get to the actual BET live funeral they're going to have up there, right? They have a rollout ready of how to maximize profits in that period of time. But I just always had the question, I'm like, damn, it's so crazy these rappers can't go outside, and it's partly their fault because of things they talk about, but they can't go outside because of how great the marketing is at these major labels. Because when they go outside, they're a walking test dummy. People are looking at them and saying, oh, that's the one that just said that he got ops. Oh, I think I'm a bigger gangster than him. Let me go holler at him. Oh, he got a whole lot of money. I was on his Instagram with the money phone. Those are the kind of people that the folks at the labels will push, the imagery that they'll push, not the people, the imagery that they'll push. And them folks get to go to Trader Joe's and eat whatever Sprout sandwiches they like. With that said, there's a few different theories that are popping up about why all of this shit is starting to happen. This one here is by Flossie the Boss. He is a media mogul and record label exec. Here he theorizes, or he talks about his experience and what he believes is happening right now with not just Atlantic Records, because remember Universal went through this as well. What is happening with these labels?
On with the major labels. There's been massive staff cuts from the major labels like Warner and Atlantic Records. The major labels are shrinking. In fact, they're merging together. Island merged with Mercury, Interscope with Capitol. The labels aren't making the kind of money that they used to. So when we see these companies laying off their staff, the next wave of cuts usually comes from the artists. And that's what happened the other day. 20 artists were dropped from their label in the last 2 days. Why would they drop their artists? It's simple. Labels chase trends. When they see a song blow up, they sign the artist and ride the success of that song. Eventually, the hype of that song dies out, and they wait for the artist to build up another song and make that hot, and they ride the success of that song.
Fucking idiots. So wait. Hold on. All those folks who are chasing trends on TikTok and were just trying to be the next song that went off, and they had no desire to actually pick up an instrument or had any desire to be a top-tier lyricist or had any desire to be a top-tier songwriter. The ones that were just trying to run up a bag? You mean to tell me that letting them lead the charge is unwise? And it's not making money?
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Never would have guessed it.
That's right, even when you're signed to a label, that artist has to invest in themselves because the labels just aren't going to do the work. And a bunch of those artists learned that lesson the other day when they got dropped. The truth is, the major label structure is rapidly changing. They're moving to an artist service and distribution model. In the next year, we'll see every major label offering distribution similar to DistroKid and TuneCore.
Oh, shit. Did you hear what he just said? I can't rewind it, but did you hear what he just said? These labels are going to go from being the homes of artists. They're now going to turn into the new DistroKids and TuneCores. Why is that funny? Because we've covered videos in the past where a DistroKid was getting the receiving end of attacks from artists. And I'm not saying this in defense because nobody was being clear. But remember when songs were getting taken down off of Spotify and then Spotify said, no, that was DistroKid. DistroKid did that. That wasn't us, man. We stand on business. And then DistroKid said, we the little dogs. They did that. Remember when all that was going on? Now you see the play. Put them in a negative light. And not just them, but a TuneCore too. And these companies have done shit themselves. Let's not even get it twisted. There's no honor amongst thieves. But I think it's really interesting how there's this push for us to be like, man, forget them. Let's go direct to consumer. And then who comes back and says, oh, you want to go direct to consumer? You want to make some real money? Man, come to Atlantic Records. Sorry. Atlantic Distribution.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
I hate it here.
Right now, every label has their own distribution already. Sony has Orchard, Universal has Virgin, Warner has 88, etc. The labels are once again chasing yet another trend, the distribution trend. The bottom line, independent game right now. 6 of the last 10 Hot 100 artists were independent. These majors are trying to lock down the independents without spending any money, and they're doing it through distribution. So just remember, the goal should not be getting signed to a label. There's no future in that model anymore. Just ask those 20 artists that got dropped the other day.
Crazy.
Focus on making great music and building your fan base. If you need distribution for your label...
No, we stop there. All right, so he's not the only one that's theorizing. This one I tend to put a lot more value in because if y'all think I'm not so Raven, because of my predictions, Lloyd Lang here from Reggaeology here on Instagram has been spot on as well. It's a lot of things he predicted, and he predicted this once you started seeing the layoffs. Here's where he says in the actual caption before we get to the video. He says, we discussed the fallout in the major label ecosystem where CEOs, A&Rs, artists, and sub-labels are all losing their heads. This is due to DSPs clamping down on bad farming and fake streaming, which has impacted not just the small players, but also the big labels. The industry has been taken over by hedge funds and financiers who don't understand the music industry, and now the paper expectations are not being realized. Because you got the number peoples in there who like, what the hell has y'all been doing in this music industry? This ain't making no chili. Leading to a lot of money and resources being spent on assets and artists backed by fake streams. This realization has led to a bloodbath in the industry. What's good with you DIYers, YouTube fam, and of course, independent artists alike? I got some really exciting news that I want to share with you. As many of you know, over the last 10 months, I have been doing some deep diving into going direct to consumer as an independent artist. And after reacting to so many different stories and having my own experiences, I've learned a lot over these last 10 months, and I would love to share it with you on my new Patreon for Curtis King TV. By joining the DIY community, you'll get early access to exclusive videos from this YouTube, free downloads, live Zoom calls, and even private Discord chats with me and the DIY community. Plus, independent artists, there are resources, tutorials, and so much more to help you level up your independent music career. So whether you're here for my content, for my music, or just to level up your own music career, I assure you this Patreon is for you. Head over to patreon.com/Curtis King TV and let's continue to show them what is possible independently. Ooh, talk about it.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Lloyd Lang.
This conversation this week is a fallout in the major label ecosystem. And I mean, everybody from CEOs to A&Rs to artists to sub-labels are losing them heads, and everybody running around like a chicken without one, wondering why. But let me explain to you. You see, in the first quarter this year, the DSPs decided to clamp down on bad farming and fake streaming, and that did not just go for the small guys, the independents, the middleman, but it also went for the big wigs as well. But you see, in an industry that has been taken over by hedge funds and financiers and people who don't know nothing about the undercurrent of the music industry, everything looks good on paper until you need to collect the paper. And when that time came around in the second half of 2024, a lot of the paper expectations did not realize themselves. So
Can you think about, I'm not trying to make any kind of sympathy for the investors or the financiers, but can you imagine sitting there across from somebody that's a big wig or a big exec in the music industry, and you're like, I see that things are going really bad in the music industry right now. I mean, that's kind of exaggerated. We're good. No, it's going bad. But I see that you are making money here, right? It's good. You guys are doing good streams. There's a lot of traffic. Yeah. Can you show me some of the numbers? Sure. What's wrong? You look a little nervous. Okay, so we be faking. What do you mean you be faking? We be faking streams. Because what happens is, okay, all right, follow me, financier. What we do is, okay, we put fake streams, right? And that makes real streams, right? You can't really tell the difference between which is which together. And like, okay, so why we do that, I don't know. But we do that because it's been working. Okay, we don't really have a plan. That's why we got y'all. That's why we need financiers and investors. Fucking hate it here.
A lot of people spend money on products, assets, and artists that were all being backed by fake streams all this time. And now that realization has come to punch, blood going flow until water find level. It's Leng. I'm out.
You ain't never lied.
Somebody gonna have to tell
Are y'all
the
asking
truth
what a
and I'm
fake
gonna
stream is? Do you forget the video we did? I gotta react to a reaction of a reaction of a reaction. Don't be bringing in your birthday part. Let me bring me a birthday gift on my birthday gift on my birthday gift.
So you just gonna bring me a birthday gift on my birthday to my birthday party on my birthday with a birthday gift?
Happy birthday.
Do you forget about this video already? I know that you've been hit with so much content that sometimes you may forget about some of the things we do. But we've been covering this. Remember this video? So Russ sat down on his podcast and he spoke about the way that labels leverage fake streams. Bots. You know, the same thing that they out here suing other people for? Fake streams to get real money.
Let's say your song has 500 million streams, right? Organically. But let's say with fake streams, now you're at 900 million. No one's gonna sit there and be like, this is more like a 500 million stream song.
Yeah. Hey, Santa Claus ain't real.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth.
This was 7 months ago, by the way. Oh, man. Do you understand why we call ourselves DIYers?
DIY.
Because your guess is just as good as these idiots. So they're fudging the numbers to make it seem as realistic as possible, yet they're fudging it by the hundreds and hundreds of millions. Now, this is just a random example. I imagine that they have found ways to get to this number of what's the magic number before people start asking questions. And you have to imagine there's been a lot of artists along the way who have been the sacrificial lambs of what never to do again. Okay, DIY. So here's my final thoughts. Yeah, the party is dying. The party is dying, but that's why I released a freestyle over that beat called Watch the Party DIY. You hear me?
DIY.
Yeah, watch the party DIY. But DIYers, be careful, because these streets is finna get a little bit more treacherous. You finna see some new platforms pop up that are gonna show themselves. I told you the sharks were in the water. I told you when all these layoffs happen, be careful of these new businesses that are gonna pop up trying to show themselves as direct to consumer. How you gonna present yourself as direct to consumer when I can go direct to consumer? What's more direct to consumer than me going direct to consumer? I'm looking at every one of you platforms promising direct to, how the hell you gonna make me more direct to consumer than me being direct to consumer? I'm looking at all these platforms. These platforms many times are ran by people who are part of that other bastardization of hip hop industry. They're the ones who were saying, yes sir, boss, to all that bullshit they was doing at the major labels. Now they're in charge of their own companies. No leadership. They're just following the old model, but trying to modernize it and update it in ways they couldn't get approval for before. That's where we're at now. It's your choice of whether or not you want to trust these platforms as you move forward. I'm on one right now that I got a bunch of questions for in Bandcamp. But at least I know that if anything ever happens to my Bandcamp, I have a website. And everybody can start buying music from my website. Just thinking, you know, the deeper I've gotten into this direct-to-consumer, it's almost been a year since I've been doing this, right? Exclusively direct-to-consumer. The more that I do it, even with my last project, I put out a Beige EP with Iman Omari. I put that out on streaming and I regret it. That was a misstep because I saw it. immediately impact my direct-to-consumer numbers when people could stream it. It was almost like I weeded people off of the drugs, and I was able to make a living through selling my music just to have them get the drugs again. And of course, it's where they're at. And I understand the comfort, I understand the convenience, but we're trying to build a movement. We are building a movement. And you know what's happening? Now the big dogs are starting to readjust to said movement. They're trying to position themselves because they know the money is there. It is very easy numbers. Let's say I'll get 1 million streams on Spotify, huh? What that gonna get me? $3,400. Or I could sell 100 copies times $30 for an autographed copy and make $3,000. 100 versus 1 million. It was right there in front of us the whole time. But we were afraid. I was afraid. I get the hesitation. I get that people are so addicted to streaming. I get it. We're in that crazy time period. But you know what? It calls for crazy people like us out here. So don't be the last one. Watch this video and please make some plans about what to do next, because they are already plotting on you. They're getting rid of their staffs. They are utilizing AI to the best of their ability to replace these positions they were paying for. They got to pay AI for nothing. And now they're trying to get in here and compete with the distro kids. Why? Because the distro kids of the world were making money. They said there's no money in making music. Then why do these folks get $19 every time you sign up annually? There's no money in making music. Then why TuneCore hit me over the head for $60 a year for one particular song or release? They making money. Oh, there's no money in selling music. And there are people who are in position that want you. They're going to do everything in their power to make you fearful of the idea of selling music, when the reality of it is you don't need a lot of people. You just need the right people. Direct to consumer. If you cannot see the writing on the wall, these folks left and right are being dropped off. I think a lot of it does have to do with what's going on with Diddy, but that's their freaky ass business. Baby oil aside, I do think it is a slick time, see what I did there, to go direct to consumer, DIYers. Those are my thoughts though. You let me know what you think. DIYers, if you enjoyed this content, make sure that you hit the like button and maybe even consider subscribing. Come on, man. Stop being greedy. Peace.